Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy P, also known as Captain P67. We're here today for my Living Lightning Archon Demon Form build. As you can see from the footage, the build itself is a pretty crazy fast mapper. Does a lot of damage, insta burst damage. It clears all the content in the game, and overall it's just really easy to play. A lot of fun. It has high rarity as well. So without further ado, we will get into the build. However, just a little disclaimer or side note as well. I am new to Demon Form, completely using it. So I did try and see what was out there, and I did come across Hungry Boots channel, which I'll also link in the description below. And they kind of specialize in Demon Form in general. So I definitely will recommend that you definitely check their channel out, as I have done a lot of different things with this particular build. I've changed a lot of skills. I've got different tech all around, and it's Living Lightning, which is my own tech I use for my own Blood Mage. But I'd say the original sort of template did come from them and their channel. So I would definitely recommend you check them out if you want more explanation of how the tech works in regards to the recoup, because I think they've done a phenomenal job on that. Plus they are very focused just on the Demon Form. I think if you did want to learn more about that, they've got variants and they've got some good tech on the channel as well, which I think is great. So I definitely recommend you checking them out. So I just wanted to make sure, you know, not all of this is my own tech from scratch. Or I do always make all my builds from scratch originally, but if I have taken a template or used something, I do want to give the other creators, the other content creators a shout out, which 100% this is their sort of like template for the sort of like stuff I'll go into in the skill tree. But again, like I said, I have made all original tech and a lot of differences to their build, which you'll see, and you can always do a comparison. But I've made this specifically because when I did use their build template to start off with, I was having a lot of deaths. So this particular version I've made is totally different with the Living Lightning. Others text included as well, but again, we'll go into it. So without further ado, just wanted to get that out of the way. Let's get into my Living Lightning Archon Demon Form build. So as we always do with my builds, I have like a specific order. So if you are new, you can see how I do and how I work. But we'll get into the gear first and foremost, then we'll go into the skills, then we'll go into the passives, I'll go over the rotation, and then we'll go over the total stats, and then we'll work from there. So I'm going to get into this and be as quick as I can. A full mobilistics guide will be included as always, so you got all the information that you need there. There is a few descriptions and how things work, but I can always add more if you need it. But in the video I'll explain absolutely everything, and then mobilistics will be fully included for you. So in regards to the wand itself, you always want to get as much level of spell skills as you can. The higher the better overall for the flat damage, and you want to get in cast speed, which is amazing. And any sort of additional cold damage, lightning damage is essential, as well as spell slinger. Now you could get a level 18 spell slinger, but I did want to go for the maximum at the time. However, I've got a few thousand divines, so I could also get like higher +5 and do way more damage. And a little side note again, if you do have like more than one slot, you definitely want to add the spell seals to add more additional projectiles, which can do a lot more. But you could also add extra crit in there and also flat damage as well. However, one thing I would also mention, if you can get flat increased elemental damage overall, as well as the spell and the cast speed and the extra lightning cold damage, that would be amazing. Bump up your damage significantly as well. Now in regards to the helmet, you do want to get a helmet, preferably 1 slot or 2 slot, but we've got 8% damage if taken as recoup. This is a recoup build overall. And then you do want elemental damage taken recouped as energy shield, which is very specific. The rest will be energy shield and your stats and resistances. And in regards to the same thing for the amulet. So infusion of power, which I'll go for if you don't know what that means, but that is definitely dope to have, as well as a spirit. You want to have at least like 45 above a spirit base. More energy shield, more life, spell skills, and cast speed is important to get on there, as well as a 19% damage taken recouped as life. Doesn't have to be 19, but anything taken recouped as life is just beneficial for you in the build itself. And then we got the focus, more energy shield, 2 level to spell skills, which will increase flat damage, and then the cast speed and any resistances you can get on there as well. And then I may have not gone over the rings, but I'll go over this as well. So also the rings, this one's very, very important, because we do the lightning damage does get converted to cold, and with the double corruption I end up getting more rarity. This has got very high rarity, we got a lot of rare drops, and I'll go through that. We got increased life regen to keep the survivability. We have got lightning resistance in covered, intelligence, and mana regen rate, and also 24% increased freeze build up. Now the main chest piece would have to be this, because we get damage taken recouped as life, more armor, energy shield, spirit on there is base, armor, energy shield, strength for more flat health, intelligence to cover the stats, chaos resistance, and then more damage taken recouped as life. And what I would recommend is, if you are going to go for this particular style of build for a recoup, try and get the double damage taken recouped as life. It makes a massive difference. I tried it without it, I tried it with it. Without it you can also kill yourself if you're not too particular with how you might use the build, but definitely if you get double it can cover that. And I'll go over this with the rotation. And then with the other ring, we've gone for a lot more rarity, more life again, cast speed, resistances, life regen. The spell damage while on full energy shield won't be too applicable to us, because we're hardly on full energy shield, but sometimes we are, and we do big damage. There's a massive increase. And then the gloves, energy shield, maximum life rarity, resistance is covered as well. Belt itself, we've also got fire damage taken recouped as life, which is one of the main things we're doing. Since we are in a Demonform and Infernalist, we are going to be taking elemental damage, fire damage from ourselves, then we recoup it back as life, as well as energy shield. And we want more armor, life on there if possible. And the same with the boots, more energy shield in general. Resistance is also. Now in regards to the flasks, this is probably one of the better ones, because if you can see the note on there, 27% damage taken during the effect is recouped as life. So where I've mentioned this is a very specific recouped as life build, because we are self-damaging, so we're self-recouping that, and that's why we're constantly keeping Demonform infinitely and keeping all our buffs and keeping everything flowing basically. And then in regards to the charms, we have gone for like bleeding, because we want to keep our life as top as we can for Demonform. So bleeding can bypass your energy shield, and with this we kind of get more immunity to it. And the same as the chaos, we want to keep that as much as we can. And then we've got, if we become frozen, you can also get your energy shield recharge as well. So if you was to take a big hit for any of those, you cover that included. And then obviously just a normal flask, but this one is pretty much ideal overall as well, I'd say. So that is the gear for you in regards to the set 1. Now we are using a 2 set piece, which again I'll go over the rotation, but this just increases our buffs for our sigil of power. So I've gone over this before, but if you don't know how this works, you put in your weapon set 2 and you basically proc your sigil of power, which can be binding to whatever skill you want, and then whatever money you spend in here just increases your flat damage overall for your spell damage the longer you're in there in the area. So we've gone for, which I'll go over the skills. We got +3 to level or spell skills on here, but you can use whatever in there, and as long as you proc it, we'll go over that in the skills themselves. Okay, so that goes over the gear. We will go over now to the skills. I will probably remove the camera so you can just see everything as clear as day, and that will make sure it'll be easier for you to understand if you are more of a newer player overall how the skills work. But if you're more of a veteran player, you still probably want to see them anyway. Now, just before I go into these, I'll just quickly show you how I do this and what it looks like, just so you probably understand a little bit better. But as you can see, since we've got our setup done, and I'll explain the rotation, you can see my demon flame constantly going up. Procs of demon form, I just keep going up as well. It actually goes, we got unlimited, and we'll have unlimited demon form. So all I'm doing is literally holding 2 buttons, which is included with the spell slinger and the lightning warp. So once you proc, you're just literally holding 2 buttons, and that's it, and it will just fly around the whole map for you. Okay, so spell slinger first and foremost, like I said, 18 or 20, either one is fine, but I'd recommend go 20 for the more maximum damage and everything included. Got ball lightning in there, multi-shot in there included, boundless energy, energy retention, and Violenta's propulsion for the cast speed. And this just basically means every time you do so many procs, you build your spell slinger, you press the spell slinger, it releases the ball lightning, which then procs into other things which you got in the build, which then procs into lightning warp, and it's just a loop, and it kind of loops in itself unlimited, which is just godlike. And again, this is all down to, like, say, Hungry Boots sort of tech included, and I'll include a link in their description for their whole channel, and you can just see that for more of a breakdown how they've explained it, which is phenomenal. And I also did this lightning warp sort of tech with the lightning ball with the blood mage build I did a couple of leagues ago as well, so it's pretty awesome. But they've incorporated this with spell slinger, which is amazing. So that's what you need in there. Now, in regards to the Sigil of Power, I've already mentioned we get the extra buffs from there. So you just proc Sigil of Power once. We've added durations to the extra effect, more AoE or more area effect included as well, and that kind of covers that for you. You proc it, go back to your set 1 skills, extra spell damage, flat damage. Now, in regards to Demon Form, we've only really got 2 in there. You can add more stuff in if you wish, but I've kept it kind of simple. And again, a lot of these I haven't fully maxed out or min-maxed out on purpose, just to show you, like, a template you can use and tweak it yourself and how you want to build. But yeah, Demon Form itself, this gives you less cooldown recovery rate, but once it's on cooldown, it does give you life back, giving us more life regen, more survivability overall. Then we have the cooldown recovery rate here to kind of counter that as well, and it comes back really quick. And we also have like a +1 as well, so we can have it twice, which is phenomenal. Lightning Warp itself, obviously that's what we're doing when we're using Lightning Warp. So once you proc it, that is the Lightning Warp skill. So it's unlimited, and we're just constantly procking that. It looks like we're kind of moonwalking since we're going backwards and doing it, but it's pretty cool how the tech works. So Lightning Warp itself, it's the warp skill with lightning. We've added Unleash in there to get the seal cast, which gives us more flat damage overall. And then we've got the magnified area. We've also got armor break in there, so any physical sort of damage, which again we've got more stuff in the passive tree for it, will break their armor. Once we break the armor, we get charges, which again synergizes with the build, which I'll explain that to you as well. And then we got living lightning itself. So living lightning is just actual lightning that's living. Once you attack somebody, it's like minions that come out, do extra damage overall. They chase enemies down. Really cool tech, does more damage overall, applies more stuff than what we need, and it does more chain attacks. But you can read it, what it does there for you as well. And then we got the rapid casting in there as well. We're currently going probably rapid cast 2, but I put the cast in 3 since we're doing so many different skills. We got more cast speed overall, so it's pretty awesome. And then we've got cast and ailment hit. So basically, because we're doing so many different types of ailments and it's just non-stop lightning, fire, ice damage, we're just building up more stuff, and then we can just have a crazy loop. So we got living bomb in there, which once you proc that with comet, it does give you infused comets. With that, the infusion then gives you power charges, which we will proc into something else, which I'll explain to you in a second. And then it all just kind of like works together, so the synergy is amazing. So once you infuse the comets, your comets do actually do more damage. They then leave an infusion for you, which you can pick up, and then that procs into other stuff. And then I've already mentioned the armor break on from earlier, and then we have armor break here in proportion to the physical damage. Because we're using Atalu's bloodletting, we convert our mana cost to life costs, and because we've got recoup and regen, that basically gets negated, and then we do more physical damage, which then breaks armor and then gets us more charges as well. And then we got Dia's Desire in here for an extra level and quality. And then this then procs into this, which is Elemental Invocation. So again, this also procs once you do so much sort of like procking of ailments as well. So as you can see, gains 10 energy with power when you freeze and hit. We do a lot of ignite, we do freeze, we do shock, we do everything. So this then stacks with that. This then procs a fireball, which does more like elemental damage, which then procs into this, and then it just basically just synergizes in together. And then we got Science Temper for the wild shards to do more around, and then it then again obviously feeds back into that. Then we have Exploit Weakness, so it can't break the armor, but it consumes enemy full broken armor to do more damage. Since we break a lot of armor, procs back. We then converted the cost into the amount of life, since we got obviously a lot of regen, and then we got capacity, so it actually has more increased maximum energy, which is awesome. Now the other cool tech I mentioned that's like slightly varied overall, in regards to the spell totem, we do a lot of damage, and then we also start getting a lot of different charges. So we get the power charges, which I mentioned how you get those. We also get endurance charges and frenzy charges, so we get buffs off those, which will then go off charge regulation. But basically, when I explain the rotation, which I'll do once we've gone through this, you'll probably understand a little bit better. But we do all that crazy stuff with the spell slinger and the casting ailment, and we can also bring out a totem, which then does extra damage, which procs back into the others, and it just, the cycle is pretty amazing. I've added Thunderstorm in here as well, Firestorm, and I've also added Arbiter's Ignition, which gives you Elemental Archon when you do ignite an enemy, it says, which then procs in, which then kicks in more, and basically Elemental Archon does more elemental flat damage. It does more ignite, more chance to freeze up, more shock chance, which then feeds into the other skills which I mentioned already. And like I said, the synergy is just pretty insane, so it's pretty awesome. And then we got Rising Tempest, so supported skills deal 12% more elemental damage for each, since we got like loads proccing. We got the Firestorm multiple, and then we got the Lightning. It's just amazing. And then we got Urgent Totem, since this is basically a totem which we proc. And then Charge Infusion, as I mentioned, because we're getting all these extra charges, we get more crit with the power charge, we get more defense with the endurance charge, and then we get more skill speed with the frenzy charge as well. And then what I've also added, like Thrashing Vines, for a few reasons. In this, in regards to, it's a skill which builds up, which I'll explain the rotation, and there's a specific reason I've got it added. So Magnified Area I've added, more duration, I've added Bleed because it does physical damage, so it's more flat damage overall. Then it synergizes with the other elemental damage, so we haven't just got one type of damage, we've got multiple types of damage, more area concentrated, and then shock conduction. So basically with this one, it's pretty awesome. Hits from supported skills always shock drench targets. When we popping off, we always have Thunderstorm proccing off with the totem, which does conjures Thunderstorm, which causes lightning strikes and torrential rain. So it drenches the enemies, does lightning, which then procs into this, which is shock conduction. So hits from this, the vines will always shock the drenched targets, because they're always drenched off this. So this then procs back into these then cast again, and then we get more of these dropping, then we get more damage. So like I said, the synergy is just pretty amazing. Then we got Elemental Weakness, so we do reduce the enemy's elemental weakness, so we do more damage. And then we got Heightened Curse, Magnified Area, Prolonged Duration, Potent Exposure, and Cursed Ground. And then I've also added some extra tech in the build as well overall. Again, I'll go over the rotation and what we use while we're using it. But basically, if you will be using certain skills, you might take a lot more off your sort of Demon Flame and then your own HP, so you can die instantly. However, with Spark, you just want to use it very lightly to like go around maps, whether you're in Demon form or regular mode. Not only does it do good decent damage, you can just use this to actually kill stuff across the map to a certain degree quicker with the AoE itself, but you can basically just use it to get your demon stacks and then just get your flow back as well. So it's there just to kind of self-maintain, because every time we're taking damage or we're applying damage to ourselves, our recoup lasts longer, which means our demon form stays longer, and you can literally just go around the map and just have unlimited demon form. So if I was to stop for a reason now, you'll start seeing my HP go down shortly once our regen and everything comes off, and there you go. Look how quick our HP goes down, and then we revert back to normal human form. But if we was to then proc this, our HP goes fully back up, energy shield goes back fully up, and we would just never come out of demon form whatsoever. So it's unlimited demon form this way, and it's not risky as well. Whereas if you might be using other skills, might be a bit more risky to use, because you are using a lot more damage and doing more damage to yourself. So I've added like a safety guard and a pretty cool skill as well. Okay, so that's covered. Now in regards to the last one, Combat Frenzy. So as we obviously get different charges, while active, grants you a frenzy charge when you freeze, electrocute, or pin an enemy. We are, like I said, doing freeze because of the conversion with the ring. We are doing electrocution, which is the shock. So we're getting all the charges proccing, and it just gives you those buffs from what I've mentioned with the charge regulation as well. So it's pretty awesome with the synergy. Okay, so what we're going to quickly do is get into the passives, and then we'll go over the rotation, and then it'll probably make more sense to you. So in regards to the passives, we've got a lot of energy shield flowing through here. Sorry, actually we'll start here. Actually, this would probably make more sense if you are more of a newer player. So obviously this is the Infernalist, which I mentioned. We got the maximum mana here, and then we've got Pyromantic Pact. So this is the reason why, instead of us having mana, you can see on the right part of the screen, it's been changed from that because of that node itself, which is Pyromantic Pact. So maximum mana is replaced by twice as much maximum Infernal Flame. Gain Infernal Flame instead of spending mana for skill cost. So that's what the skills will cost instead of that. But we also take maximum life and energy shield as fire damage when Infernal Flame reaches maximum. So that's why reason we want to have a recoup on the life as well as the energy shield recoup. And then it says lose all Infernal Flame on reaching maximum Infernal Flame. So we would lose it as normal, but we got unlimited. So 25% Infernal Flame lost per second if none was gained in the past 2 seconds. So that's why we want to constantly be keeping our Infernal Flame topped up and resetting. Because if we lose that, then we lose everything, and then reset, and then that will put you back into normal human mode again as well. And then we got over here spell damage, demon form, which gives you cast speed and spell damage. So that's one of the bonuses. But you don't have to even have demon form with this build I've made. You can even go without it, to be honest. It's just that good. But obviously with the extra demon form, you got better movement, better skill cast, more skill, damage itself, and you got quicker cast speed. So it's worth using it, and the way we've got it is pretty awesome. So I definitely recommend using that. But again, you don't have to. If you wanted to just go regular mode and go for rolls, you could use regular mode, which is pretty cool. And also, if you are on cooldown, if you proc too many demon forms and made a mistake, don't even worry. This is the whole reason I wanted to make a build that does everything completely without any sort of like hiccups or you're feeling restricted in any way, shape or form. Okay, so then spell damage, and then demon flame has no maximum, which I've gone over. And then we got energy shield, which is one of the more important things. I've gone over this way in part of the tree, and again, this is definitely a lot more different to how Hungry Boots did it, because I find I had a few deaths going off the template the other particular way. So I made a lot of changes to make it so we can run everything. We're not running into sort of situation where we die. I've run Simulacrum 3 super easy. I've done all the endgame content. I've even done Super Juice T16s, T15s map where we have reduced energy shield and recovery rate. And because of this, I believe this counters it. And we're comfortable no matter what we do. So it's pretty awesome to have these extra stuff in there. So more life, more damage taken, recouped his life. So basically more recoup. And then we got over here for more energy shield. And then more energy shield. We don't really care about the mana itself, and that will be explained in the next part as well when I go for the passive tree. Then we got spell damage, reduced cast speed, but we got so much already from the items, but then this doesn't matter, it's just a flat spell damage we want. And then a lot more recoup in here as well, which is already been explained. But this one, you have to be using this or the build won't work. You can die a lot without it. I did make a mistake on a stream when I was first kind of like tweaking the build and trying things out, and I took this off and we did die. So make sure you have this. So that's the elemental damage, and that's when we're taking the demon flame, we're taking fire damage to ourselves as well. So make sure you have that in there, it's very important. And then we got up here, and then we got control metamorphosis, and then we got a few nodes around here which we procced into. So energy shield recovery rate, very important. Got crit chance of spells, plus we got the power charges, don't forget. And then we got increased damage for each type of ailment on the enemy. And then we do so much ailments, we get a lot more increased damage overall. So it's pretty good. And again, this will all be cleaning the mobilities for you as well. So this is part of it, going for strength, more HP. And then we covered our dex as well. Now, one thing I found which is pretty cool, you can double dip with this. So we've got increased flat elemental damage. So this increases everything. But the shield recharge rate is pretty awesome as well. And then you go over here for the additional threshold, more life, maximum shield. The higher part, you get more energy shield up here, and then you get a bit of life converted to energy shield. And then on this is recoup, and then this also gives you back recoup for life as well as energy shield. And then we move down here, and I'll go over each one of the specific jewels I've used as well. And then we got more presence, and then increased spirit to make sure we cover that spirit, because we got everything included, so it's quite a lot of spirit to cover. So I went for this just for the increased spirit to cover what I needed as well. Again, you can change and tweak this as much as you want, just make sure it suits you and your playstyle. So basically with this, from Nothing Diamond, this is for resonance. So I may have missed one jewel as I went through here. But basically, oh no, I explained this. So we've gone over this metamorphosis, why we got that. But basically, this is what I was talking about with Hungry Boots, sort of like tech, I believe, they found originally. With this, the resonance, you could put this wherever you feel comfortable, but Basically, with the resonance, would normally be over here, I believe. With the resonance, it talks about the different charges, the frenzy charge, the power charge, and how they change. But because I've added this into there, this has actually changed to get the nodes for around here. I've actually added a node in here over here for this to proc that. This has been converted to Knightly Tenants with this. So you do want to get a Heroic Tragedy Jewel in here, and it's different. You'll get different nodes. So I've even got like 3 different ones. So you get different types of different things. But the main things you want it for is this to be converted. So you won't gain inherent bonus from intelligence, because we do have a lot of intelligence itself. So we don't want the mana to go as high as we can. We don't really care about that. But we also get increased evasion rating as well, which is pretty cool. And then use the other jewel to cover this circle area as well. And then you can proc into here to get other nodes that you might need as well. And then I've also added this because I needed to get all the attributes. So I proc from that into this because this is slightly out of the area. And then I get this bonus too. So that's what I've used for that. So that's just 2 inconclusive with each other why we're going to be using those. Now, then we go over to here for more energy shield, and intelligence. And then we've gone over here for spell damage and projectile spell skills. And then we got this, which is pretty cool as well. So we got allocates, invocated echoes, and cruel methods. So we've got invocated echoes. So spells have 40% chance to consume half as much energy. Since we're using a lot of energy for the build, half as much is amazing. And then we got cruel methods here, which is just a bonus. So since I mentioned about breaking armor, we increased the armor break and we got increased phys damage. We got vines, so that does physical damage, plus increased. And then the other tech I mentioned with the other sort of jewels we've added, or jewels or items we've added in the skills themselves as well. So that buffs that. So then we've gone down here and then we've added more spell damage, more chance to trigger to refund half again, hence why we can just do so much unlimited. And again, this is more of Hungry Boots' way of teching the spell slinger, I believe. So I think these are definitely essential to use. And then we've got the recoup again as well, which is pretty awesome. And then we've gone over here for the additional projectiles, so you can do more lightning balls, and then you can proc into those with the lightning warp of that as well. And then I've gone through here, so more recoup, more energy shield here as well, and then through here more spell damage, and works really well. Now if you wanted to go more flat overall damage, you can proc down into here and then do this increased elemental damage, so you can get a couple of nodes in here which do crazy amount of damage. But again, I specifically went 6 points in here because I did have a couple of deaths and I wanted to make it sort of immune to that and to be able to run any content super comfortably as well and keep it kind of simple for you. So that is basically all the passives, and again this will all be including the mobilytics for you anyway. And then we'll go on the rotation, and then I'll bring the camera back, and then we'll go over the total stats, and that is everything pretty much covered for you. And I'm streaming on Twitch every single day, so if you do need any help, or if you got any questions about any of the builds I do make, or just need help in general, I do stream a lot of different games, so I am like streaming 2 to 3 games at a time. But I'm always happy to help anyone that's got any questions. So if you need any ascendance carries, in regards to currency, this build of Blasted does get a lot of currency. I'm quite stacked. I've got a few, so let's just say, argument's sake, over 3k in divines. I've got a lot of currency by using this build. It gets a lot of drops for me. One side note I would say, because of all the extra rarity in general, I ran King of the Mist twice back to back. I got 2 Omen of Witlings, Omen of Dextral, the other purple one, I think that's 139 divines. I ran, in the video you can see, I ran the Orbiter run. I got a diamond. I didn't identify it. I got 300 plus divines for that. Maps in general, I'm getting a couple of raw divines just dropping and a lot of rare drops, then rare loot which I can sell and make more currency. So with the extra rarity I've got in here, this is definitely a great sort of currency farmer if you did want to use this or make this. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, if you need any help, I can help you like get or farm currency or help you out with the game in general. And just join the streams. I'm live on Twitch every single day. Streaming also Marvel Rivals, playing a lot of ranked matches and that, playing with viewers, having fun. But I'm also making like new builds every week and learning more on this game too. So that's just a bit of a side note. Okay, so rotation. Like I said, you don't have to go in demon form, but there's a couple of specific reasons why I've got this the way I've got it. So what I normally do is I normally go elemental weakness, bring out my vines, do lightning spark, and then just proc straight into spell slinger and hold it down, and then that's it. I've got, after you've done that, you just got unlimited. I'm on controller, so it works perfectly on controller, but if you're on mouse or keyboard, just whatever your button for your spell slinger is and your lightning warp, you just hold them down once you proc that. It's literally just that simple. So again, demon form, elemental weakness, thrashing vines, spark, and then just go straight into your spell slinger because it's automatically procced for you. It's just really simple setup. You don't have to do any changes or change to your weapon set 2, but if you did want to do more damage like I mentioned before, just do your sigil of power, switch back to your weapon set 1, same rotation works, and that's it. It's really that simple. As you might have saw there, we did actually revert to demon form because we may have done too much damage to ourselves. But this is the things I like to cover and why we got it. But you can also do a thing which can help you out a bit. You don't have to proc it as quick as I'm doing it. It's just because I'm so used to doing it and I'm very comfortable doing it. But you could just do a slow version. So elemental weakness, then bring out the thrashing vines, then slowly charge up 2, and then you could then proc. But just make sure you are in weapon set 1 or you won't be proccing the spell slinger obviously. So if you do feel like there's a reason why you might be thinking, oh, it's not working, just make sure you are in weapon set 1. Because if you're not, you won't be proccing the lightning warp because obviously the spell slinger is on weapon set 1 and it is here. So that's one of the reasons why we can proc that. So that's one thing to definitely take note of. But that's it. That is the rotation for you. It's really that simple. And again, if you got any questions further, just post in the comments below. I can help you out there. And it's just really amazing build to run. I just really happy with it overall. But I'm going to be making a spear build because I did get that series spear. So that's like kind of my next project. I've already done like 5 original builds this league already. I'm having fun while I'm doing other content as well. And I'm just learning more and having more fun. So we're definitely doing a spear build because I got this to drop the other day. That's probably the next project. And I'll just keep making content till the end of the league. And then we'll just start up again and just have more fun and just learn more as we go. Okay, perfect. So that's everything covered for you. And in regards to total stats, again, all is including the mobilytics, but maximum life 1.9k. I think you can see some of these anyway. 88 dex, 171 int, 112 strength, 10k, 10.2k shield, armor 21%. I don't think you can see that. Resistance is all capped out, bar chaos, and then we got chaos at 40%, plus this as well, and then the rest of the stats you can see there in the video. Yeah, so you can actually see it there actually. There you go, folks. That is it. That is my Living Lightning Archon Demon Form build. So I hope you enjoy the build. Hope you get blessed with it and maybe try it out. Just have fun and enjoy what it is. And yeah, I'll be making a lot more builds and guys as we keep moving forward and having more fun with the game. So yeah, if you did enjoy the video, you can subscribe for free to support that way. And links will be in the description below on my Twitch channel. So if you do want to donate and support that way, you can as well, or sub or gift a sub. Totally up to you, but I do appreciate the viewership. And yeah, that's everything covered. So apart from that, wherever you are, have a good morning, have a good night, have a good evening. I will catch you on the next one. Take it easy and peace out.